11 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 14th day of May 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Remember, if you observe the rules of the road, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a belated one, whichever is applicable. And to remind you that, For the Record, birthday shoutouts brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shoutouts. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Yum. There are daily school lunch menus available to browse on the Yum website. All you have to do is simply visit yumcayman.ky for more information. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. In particular, this morning, we want to reach out to the family of the late Mr. Ernest Scott, the people of Cayman Brac, as well, for their loss. Dedicated public servant, civil servant, over the years, spent his entire working career with the government of the Cayman Islands, rose to the level of district commissioner, was also a deputy supervisor of election, amongst other things as well. So we want to extend our sincere condolences to Mr. Scott's family and the whole Brac family as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we also want to wish you a speedy recovery. And again, a big shout out to our two colleagues, DJ Lynn and Mr. Joel Wilson, also, and wishing them a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. That radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal in the studio, but also accompanying him this morning is Mr. Yannick Powell. I'm not sure what his DJ name is yet, but I'm sure that if he doesn't have one already, he will get one as well. So Mr. Yannick Powell behind the controls as well, being mentored by Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, and we want to give a big welcome to Mr. Powell, Yannick Powell, as well. So, folks, you can call us on our toll-free number, which is provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990, WhatsApp number 925-3261. Let's look at the birthday shout-outs. So we see yesterday, Mr. Belika Samamba celebrated his birthday on Tuesday, the 13th of May. I want to wish him a happy belated birthday as well. We see that tomorrow, Mr. Stefan Johnson will be celebrating his birthday. Then on the Friday, the 16th, Mr. Wade Tamasa will be celebrating his birthday. I'm sure that he, will be out there on his, I think is it a Cervelo or Pinarello trek? He has such an assortment of bikes, it's difficult to figure out which one he's going to be riding as well. Also, Mr. Peter Larda, celebrating his birthday on May 17th, Celine Mackin on the 18th, Risa Goldberg on the 23rd, James Ebanks on the 24th as well. Then when June comes around, persons like Mr. Rail Roberts, Josen Ebanks, R.C. De La Cruz celebrating a birthday as well, Michelle Smith, Byron Derek Ebanks, cousin Byron Derek Ebanks, the 12th of June as well. Mr. Rudon Eversley, the 18th of June over there in Barbados as well. Dennis Connor, Monday the 30th of June. So all of those we'll be giving shout-outs later on as well. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or a momentous occasion, please share that information with us right here on For the Record, and we will give them a birthday shout-out. Brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available. To browse on the Yum website, just visit yumcayman.ky for more information. Before we go to commercial break, I want to remind our listeners and our viewers that Her Excellency, the Governor, Ms. Jane Owen, will be in the studio with us from 8:15 until 9 o'clock this morning. We're looking forward to having conversations with her. If you have any questions or observations that you may wish to share with the governor, and please make them short because she's only going to be here for about 45 minutes. Please send them to us in advance so that we can share them with Her Excellency as well. The number to send those questions, comments, or observations, 925-3261. That is our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. Because of the short amount of time that we will have, 45 minutes, we will be unable to entertain any phone calls. That is why we're inviting you to send your questions, comments, or observations via WhatsApp. And I'll repeat that number again one more time, 925-3261. 3261. Meanwhile, we will go to a commercial break. When we return, the phone lines will open until 8 o'clock. And then, of course, we will have our 8 o'clock news. And at 8:15, the governor will be in the studio. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Alexander Selvin Eden, 1888 through 1985. Alexander Selvin Eden was a dedicated family man. He and his wife, Sarah Leonie Nee West, had 7 children, and their father made sure that they had the best education available. He loved to work the land and also raised livestock, providing steady employment for others. As a young man, he worked overseas on the construction of the Florida East Coast Railway, returning home after World War I. His major contribution was filling the void in transportation of goods and passengers between Georgetown and Bordentown, which he did with a horse-drawn carriage for 35 years in all kinds of conditions. The government called upon him for many duties in his district, including police service, tax collection, operation of the cattle dip to control ticks, service as foreman of roadworks, and as pound keeper, keeping stray cattle until their owners reclaimed them, and the maintenance of telephone lines. He also served as a member of the Assembly of Justices and Vestry.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Ready for some real magic this summer? Coca-Cola is giving your family the chance to win a trip to the happiest place on earth, Disney World, Orlando. Just buy any 8-pack of Coca-Cola or Sprite products at participating stores island-wide for your chance to make this summer even more magical. Imagine the laughter, the memories, the adventure, all with an ice-cold Coca-Cola in hand. Coca-Cola, real magic is just a sip away.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked, you can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We will have the governor, Her Excellency, Ms. Jane Owen, will be here at 8:15 with us until 9 o'clock. We're encouraging you, if you have any questions, comments, please send them in advance, 925-3261. We see some speculation in relation to why certain members of parliament and the executive were not given or ministerial positions. Pure conjecture. And, one would question the fact that if you're a parliamentary secretary, if you couldn't be a minister, then why a parliamentary secretary? Of course, those are not personal issues, but those are issues that would have been discussed with the executive. So don't expect the governor to opine on any situation like that. You would expect, if she were to be asked that question, that she would simply say, refer us to the Constitution, what the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009 speaks to in relation to the appointment of ministers, and basically she would act on the recommendation of the Premier. It's the Premier who decides who will be a minister and who may not be, a minister as well. When I get a chance, I'll quickly go to our Cayman Islands Constitution to see exactly, how it is worded, because that the wording is extremely, extremely important as well. Which brings me back to the issue of the overseas observers, members of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. And they were extremely, extremely careful in the use of their words when talking about the requirements for voters as well as the requirements for candidates in our Constitution, the qualification of candidates in our Constitution. One of the words that they used was arguably, could arguably, which means that an argument could be made. They didn't make the argument, they just indicated that one could be made. So while there are those of you out there who still believe, to a certain extent, that they were telling us what to do, what should be done, no, that's not the case. Also, if you listened carefully to the press briefing, at one point in time, when a question was asked, they pointed out we don't use terminologies like good and bad. What they were looking at, whether or not, or legislation, or practices, or in line with international standards. Some standards that we, as an overseas territory, are obligated to comply with because of the United Kingdom's agreement to those particular conventions or treaties or whatever they are, that we are bound by them. So I think it is important, extremely important, to understand what the observer missions were talking about. I'm not a real technical person, but I'm going to work with someone. I know Paul is pretty good at this, and just to cut out portions of what was said in that press briefing in relation to some of the issues that people raised, and at some point in time on For the Record to play them back to you so that you can understand and hear exactly what was said by the mission, because the whole press briefing is fairly long, so I want to get some clips from it. Number one, in relation to the comments about voter qualification and the qualification of candidates as well, and also those instances when they were asked certain questions and they outrightly pointed out that that would be a decision for the government of the Cayman Islands to make. Not, they couldn't comment on it because that would be a decision for the government of the Cayman Islands to take. So again, like I said earlier, when in 2013, I was extremely skeptical about election observers and initially thought it was a bad thing. When I familiarized myself more with it, and when I saw the benefits, of it, and when I understood that at the end of the day that they weren't really interfering in anything they were observing, and they would make recommendations, and basically that would be it. No sanctions to be applied if we didn't follow their recommendations. We decide whether or not we want to accept a recommendation, and we do that to our benefit or to our detriment. But they pointed that out as well. So, again, the usefulness of observer missions. We also had our local observers, as well. And I know that I haven't focused on what they have said, what they have done, but we'll be doing that as well. It is extremely important for us to know what they said, what they observed, and to get their report. And to bear in mind that the parliamentary observers, their final report with recommendations we should receive them within the next 2 months. I think was the indication that they gave for that. Within the next 2 months that we should receive that as well. So we're going to go to our 8 o'clock news. When we return from the 8 o'clock news, we should have Her Excellency, Mrs. Jane Owen, in the studio with us. So folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. And I see where someone has already sent something in as well. But don't change that dial. If you don't want to converse via WhatsApp or to send your questions or comments, then we invite you simply to listen and to observe what the governor has said. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. The radio time check is 7:59, and this is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Hungry? Let's eat. Foster's Bay Market Cafe is now on the Let's Eat app. Blazing Asian, fresh off the wok. Dive into the rich, savory goodness of kimchi fried rice or a bold Thai red curry. Craving noodles? Pad Thai and ginger chow mein bring the perfect balance of flavor and texture. And for the ultimate comfort in a bowl, try our pork ramen. Slow simmered broth, tender pork, and perfectly chewy noodles. Spice, sizzle, and satisfaction in every bite. Let's eat. Foster's. Better flavors because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. According to documents posted this week, government's first quarter results showed a significant surplus. The recently published unaudited financial results of the core government for the first quarter of the year show a $262 million surplus, $268 million if you consider the entire public service, including the statutory authorities and government companies. Net assets of government reportedly clocked in at about $2.5 billion, with overall bank balances of more than $614 million in cash and deposits. When combined with the performance of the SAGCs, the financial report says the overall surplus of $268 million was actually $54 million higher than what was expected. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Development report attributes this to higher coercive revenues, a positive variance of more than $60 million, complemented by lower levels of expenditure and personnel costs, which fell nearly $6 million lower than expected. Supplies and consumable costs were also down by nearly $8 million. These were offset, though, by higher than budgeted levels of expenditure and outputs by the statutory authorities and government companies by nearly $5 million, outputs from non-governmental suppliers by $11 million, and transfer payments, a negative variance of nearly $20 million. Now, compared to Q1 of 2024, the financial report says the total revenues of core government have increased by more than $41 million this year. Additionally, total expenses of core government have risen by $31 million for the comparable period as well, with the overall net surplus for the entire public service increasing by nearly $8 million. The Mosquito Research and Control Unit is joining with the Caribbean Public Health Agency and regional partners to mark Caribbean Mosquito Awareness Week 2025. Public Education and Outreach Officer at the MRCU, Kevin Watler.
The theme for this year is Stop Disease Transmission, Start Source Reduction.
Now, unlike the rest of our neighbors in the Caribbean, we are not experiencing any disease transmission here in Cayman, but places like Jamaica, Cuba, Belize, Nicaragua, Honduras, and throughout the rest of the Caribbean, there are a lot of dengue cases being identified. Thankfully, the Mosquito Research and Control Unit has been able to keep dengue from community spread here in the Cayman Islands, but at the same time, we know that we are an island that experiences or receives a lot of international travel from countries that are having a lot of dengue cases.
What's a simple thing you can do to have the skeeters buzz off? Well, for starters, get rid of things around your property that collect water. Otherwise, you're providing the perfect mosquito baby-making factory.
The way dengue can be transmitted is through the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is here in the Cayman Islands. And if an Aedes aegypti mosquito bites someone who has dengue, and then that same mosquito goes and bites someone else, that's how you have community spread. So it's very important for us to continue our very close working relationship with public health. Once a case is identified from a travel-linked case, we then do all of the necessary things to, again, reduce the chance of dengue causing issues here in Cayman. We've been doing a great job so far, but we have to stay alert.
And in other news,
you have put in the effort, you've shown the commitment, you've reached the achievement, you've done it.
Her Excellency, the Governor Jane Owen, addressed the graduates of the International College of the Cayman Islands Tuesday night as 32 students received their associate, bachelor, and master's degrees. Premier the Honorable Andre Ebanks noted the overall GPA of the class was 3.43 out of a possible 4.0.
Whatever you go to tackle next, if you're able to overcome this, then you've got the grit and the intelligence and the prudence to overcome what is next.
Education Minister, the Honorable Rolston Anglin, also addressed the graduating class.
All of you have taken up the mantle of furthering your education, to continuing your journey from good to great. And in doing so, you are positively contributing to our beloved Cayman Islands.
The International College of the Cayman Islands is a nonprofit, private, four-year independent institution of higher education founded in 1970. I'm Karsley Fuller.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio. The 24th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Joy, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 29th at the Hawkwill Theatre. Proudly sponsored by Cayman Electrical Supply, Alba Elevators, Alba Services, Elite Marble and Granite, Brown's Esso, Mike's Esso, Delworth's Esso, Ministry of Border Control, Labor and Culture, AA Rubis, and Dr. Steve Tomlinson. Tickets are available from the #1 shoe shop and Winner Circle Sports. Prepaid tickets, $15 CI or $20 at the gate. Talent Exposition of the Arts, poetry, dance, musical theater, and creative teachings. Hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker. Part proceeds from this event to benefit the Foundation Educational Development Training Program of the Arts.
Biggest
variety in the morning.
Aussie Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline.
Brought to you by TCE Paint Shop, 27 Godfrey Nixon Way.
RC Fusion.
The Georgetown Farmers Market. It's time you start eating local. The market at the Cricket Grounds.
My Kinda Cleaners. Call or WhatsApp 326-3379 for your free quote today. Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Development. Also brought to you by Rosanna Dixon Insurance. Protect your family with critical illness coverage. Call Rosanna Dixon at 547-0952. Biggest variety in the morning. Radio Cayman. The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, Cayman. The temperature is 21 degrees Fahrenheit with a real feel of 92 degrees. Wind blowing out of the east 4 miles per hour. Max wind gust 5 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 29.9 inches.
We were on the edge of a breakthrough. I knew the substance was extraterrestrial, but I didn't realize.
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long, the entire lab exploded, and the radioactive sludge went everywhere. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, but I was able to manage everything with the CG online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by
Cayman Airways. Call them at 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Superior Auto Center. Do it right the first time with Superior Auto.
949-9570
or 525-9571.
Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune.
And Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
An Ocean Deep Mobile Massage, your go-to for high-quality massage and spa services. WhatsApp 924-4159 or email oceandeepmassage21@gmail.com.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, once again, good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at the traffic situation coming out the east-west arterial. Things are clearing up, but of course, once getting to the Red Bay roundabout and the Century 21 roundabout, you will still run into some traffic. Slowly crawling on to the Linford Pearson and Crew Road. That's the situation as you slowly make your way into the Georgetown area. Agnes Way seeing some traffic as well. Bobby Thompson Way seeing some traffic. Once getting past the traffic lights onto Huldah Avenue, yes, still some slow-moving traffic to the CNB roundabout as you wait your turn to get around there. Those continuing on Thomas Russell Way, slow-moving traffic towards the Butterfield roundabout. Heading east on North Sound Road to Dorsey Drive, we'll see some traffic. And of course, once getting onto the SLE Tibbets, things starts to flow much better if heading northward direction towards West Bay. Heading into Georgetown itself, out to Seafarers Way, North Church Street, South Church Street will see some traffic as you make your way to the inner streets of Georgetown. Traffic going through South Sound onto Walker's Road. Yeah, you will see some traffic on Walker's Road in the northward direction, similar on South Church Street, leading up to Seafarers Way. As expected, but it all clears up as the morning progresses as you make your way into town with some delays as expected with the traffic situation heading into the Georgetown area. Heading out of Georgetown to the eastern districts, moderate traffic. It depends on the speed that you're going at. Of course, observe speed limits. Don't go over 40. And of course, in certain zones heading further east, just observe those speed limits and try not to go in excess of it. Drive safely, my friends. Buckle up. Look out for those on e-scooters, e-bikes, motorbikes, bicycles. And enjoy your day. And remember, coming up at lunchtime, grab a Subway. Wrap, sandwich, cookies, chips at a Subway nearest you.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
You heard that the VEG program taking applications again? What that is? VEG, man! The Minister of Tourism's program that helping Caymanians create new tourism products and services.
Oh, I had heard about that, yeah. My friend was one of the successful applicants from the last round. I might apply for that still.
Nothing wrong, child. After you got great ideas for things tourists would love to buy, try so check out the website rcayman.ky/VEDGP for more information and apply.
I'm going to do that right now.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than Her Excellency, the Governor, Ms. Jane Owen. Governor, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me, OC.
It has been a busy year so far, for you here in the Cayman Islands, but for our listening and viewing audience, those who know you and those who may not be familiar with you and your tenure here in the Cayman Islands, let's give them a little background information in terms of your appointment as governor and what has taken place so far.
Yeah, well, I've been here about 2 years. I arrived in April of 2023, so I'm about halfway through my 4-year tenure, hoping to stay for at least 4 years. Of course, I'd love to stay longer as well. Really, really enjoying the job, enjoying the partnership I have with the government, enjoying the ability to get out and meet members of the community and learn more and more about Cayman and do what I can do to serve our people and to make sure that the relationship we have through the United Kingdom is one that is meaningful and effective.
Okay, and in that you're talking about the role of the governor, and what do you see your role as being as governor?
Well, I guess under the Constitution, my responsibilities are very clear, and the 3 areas that I regard as being particularly important are first and foremost internal security, actually. So working very closely, not just with our very excellent Commissioner of Police, but with all of the other parts of government that work hard to forge that sense of safety and security on our islands. So by that I mean the Coast Guards, the CBC, Customs and Borders, sometimes immigration when we're talking about irregular migration, our regiment, our emergency services. They all come together to provide that service to our communities. There's also external affairs, so anything to do with when we are negotiating treaties, applying treaties that the United Kingdom has negotiated. That kind of external affairs dimension is pretty important, and probably increasingly so, as everybody is very focused at the moment, I think, on what is going on in the world, who is talking to who is falling out with whom, what is Europe doing, what is the United States doing. So that bit of it is also pretty important for Cayman, I think. And then lastly, it's kind of about good governance. So my role under the Constitution is to promote good governance, obviously work very closely with our government to do that, and with our Attorney General and the Deputy Governor. So I think we're in a strong and confident position on that as well. So that's my kind of constitutional responsibilities. But of course, I'm also here to build the relationship with the UK, as I said, and also to get out there in the community, which is very often one of the most interesting bits of it. So today I'm going to John A. Cumber Primary School. I'm going to be doing some reading with the children over there. Looking forward to meeting the teachers and staff. Last night I was at the graduation for ICCI. 32 young men and women, very, very impressive grades, and studying in all kinds of different areas, which will no doubt be of use to Cayman in the future. So we're very, very proud of them. And later on today, I've also got the organisation Autism Cayman, who are coming along with some of the parents, the people involved, the sponsors, the fundraisers, to talk about how we are supporting all of those in our community who are working to help and support those who have autism.
And is something with R3 today as well?
Yes, exactly. There's an event this morning for non-profit organisations, which is being organised by R3. And basically the intent is to get together a very large number of non-profit organisations, charities, those who work on a non-profit basis. There's an awful lot of them in Cayman. Some of them are focused domestically, some more internationally, and to make sure that they all understand what are their responsibilities with regard to regulation, particularly to protect against terrorist financing. So extremely important as Cayman continues to expand as a major global financial centre.
And you play a significant role, as far as the R3 Foundation is concerned as well.
Yes, I am in fact their patron, and I'm always very impressed with the work that they do, because they do raise a lot of money, as you know, and then rather than sort of doing their own thing, they then give this money to other charities or to specific areas in our community and in our life and government that need their support. So it's a very effective way of channeling money in the right way, I think.
Okay. Now, you spoke about, being responsible for good governance as well. And while we don't expect you to tell us any of the secrets or bring any stories, out of school, but what is the UK's position and their feeling in terms of the way that the Cayman Islands is being governed at this point in time from a political standpoint, and us adhering and living up to our international obligations?
Yeah, I think there's very great confidence and respect in terms of the way Cayman has been and continues to be governed. So we are very clear about the separation of powers between the executive, the legislature and the judiciary, and also the separation between the government and the civil service, and that's very clear. We follow the rule of law. We have our Attorney General, who guides the business of Cabinet and indeed Parliament, because he sits in both of those bodies. We have a very well-functioning judiciary, and we see all the cases that go through the courts and the way in which we're able to prosecute criminals and so forth. So, yeah, I think good governance is working very well. And I would take my hat off also to our Deputy Governor, because he is leading and managing kind of on my behalf in a way, but also on behalf of the government, the civil service, who are there to be objective and to implement the business of government. And I think that they do that extremely well.
Okay, which brings me on to the next point. Then you as governor, I believe you would have now had the opportunity to work with at least, 3 premiers so far. And you as governor have performed that function quite well. The civil service as well, their ability to remain apolitical, to remain neutral, and to serve whatever government, whatever administration is in place. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that's what democracy is all about, isn't it? And as any public service, I've been a public servant all my life, ever since I left university, really. I've always worked in the British government public service as a civil servant, and it is ingrained in all of us, it's drilled into all of us that, whatever party is in power, it's very clear under democracy that the parliamentarians are voted in by the people, they form a government, and then it is for us to implement the policies that they have the right to put together. So that is very clear also here in Cayman. I've found that it's really crucial to work in partnership with the government, and of course the Premier, as the leader of that government, is therefore an individual that it's really important that I have a close relationship with. I have great respect and confidence in our former Premier Wayne Panton, in former Premier Miss Juliana O'Connor-Connolly, and also in the current Premier Andre Ebanks. So I have enjoyed and appreciated working with all of them, and I'm sure I will continue to do that with our new Premier, and congratulations again to him.
Certainly as well. With new administrations coming in, there is always that possibility that a minister may have a specific chief officer that they would prefer to work with. How do you balance the choice of the minister versus, what the civil service feels that is best, in terms of the synergies between ministers and their chief officers?
Yeah, so the appointment of chief officers and others in the civil service is very clearly under the Constitution as well, the responsibility of the Deputy Governor as delegated by me, and I think everybody respects that. We would obviously want to avoid any conflict of interest if there was one, but also, and sometimes chief officers are moved around because it is useful for them to get some further experience in another area. So I think Deputy Governor has been working with the chief officers and his senior team now to make sure that those appointments are clear. And if that hasn't yet been made public, I think it will be over the coming days.
Okay. Now hurricane season is approaching again, and right here on Radio Cayman, and I'm sure at other media outlets as well, Hazard Management Cayman will be doing their thing in terms of awareness, reminding people as well. And of course, the United Kingdom plays a significant role in terms of our preparedness and being in a position to respond in the event that we are adversely affected by a hurricane. Can you speak to that?
Yes, it's always a really important time of the year, isn't it, when we're starting to move towards June, July, and the season is coming upon us. We think, according to the data we have, it's likely to be a slightly above average active hurricane season, so we should all be aware of that. Of course, preparation, we always say preparation is the key, so I've been trying to do that in Government House as well. I was digging out my little hurricane box the other day and realising that some of the things in it I don't even like to eat, so I was thinking I do need to have a better thought about what is going into my box. because having experienced the hurricane last year when I did move into the government admin building, it's interesting, isn't it? The things that you actually want to eat when you're exhausted and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and not necessarily the things you've put in your hurricane box. So I would recommend that everyone have a really good think about what's really useful and what you're doing about your pets and how you whether you're going to move out of your house, if you're going to stay with friends or go into a shelter. So there's a lot of work already ongoing throughout government with our wonderful HMCI, with the regiment, who are extremely well prepared to support us, and in the discussions that we are having with the United Kingdom. So we do have a patrol, quite a large boat that will be in the region from around June. It will be available with experts, engineers, crew on it who can come to help. We have in place the ability to bring in people at short notice. And so, we're just making sure that we are really well prepared for this season again.
Okay. Still have about 3 minutes before we go to our commercial break. So we can talk a little bit more about the election and the election observer mission, both from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association as well as our local observers who you appointed, and invitations were put out, to people who wanted to serve to present their credentials. As far as election observer missions are concerned, how beneficial are they to restore to maintaining confidence in the electoral system in any jurisdiction?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely crucial. I think it's really important that we're able to invite, and we do invite, election observers, the international group who come from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, so they're not from the UK. Some of them are from the UK, but they are there as an international group, and they have experience of going around the world. So it gives us that kind of international comparator. It's also very important to have the domestic group as well, I think, because they bring with them that local knowledge. And of course, we have, I think, a very high level of confidence in how our election will be run. But it's always quite nice to have that endorsed, isn't it? And to say, even on an international comparator level, Cayman is doing this really well. And that was the result of the early reflections of both of those groups, wasn't it?
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we'll talk a little bit more about election observer missions. When you expect their report, I think they indicated, in about 2 months as well. And I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the past recommendations, not made to you, but by other observer missions in relation to having a dedicated and a separate electoral commission. We know that elections constitutionally, there are certain things that you as governor has to do or have to do, and at the same time, there are constitutional responsibilities that you have that will remain there. But separate and apart from that, the possibility of having something like an elections commission as well. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, with Her Excellency, Governor Jane Owen will continue after this short commercial break.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me Her Excellency, the Governor, Ms. Jane Owen in the studio. We're talking about election observer missions and recommendations. Previous recommendation had to do with setting up a separate electoral commission or body to oversee elections, while the governor would still retain constitutional responsibilities. That the whole conduct of elections itself would fall under that commission. But I'm going to preface that by saying, here in the Cayman Islands, we, and you can comment on this, Governor, if you want to, we are always reluctant to embrace change. During my comments in the swearing in, for instance, I pointed out that it took us 20 years after having a provision in our Constitution to elect a member as Speaker from outside of our Parliament. We didn't elect one from inside. We had a governor who was governor, but also who was also the Speaker of the House, head of the Executive Council, as well. So it took us 20 years to do that. We have had a constitution since 2009. That's how many years now? 15, 16 years. Advisory district councils, even though legislation was drafted, never put into effect. So we see that we're hesitant, sometimes resistant to change. Some changes that would benefit us immensely, as well. So that could be a part of why we don't get some of these recommendations being implemented. But do you have a view on that and having it removed from the governor's purview? Elections.
Yeah, I think on the recommendations, obviously we need to wait and see what the fuller report says, but we have seen the interim thoughts of the observers. Whatever they recommended, it's all recommendations, isn't it? So the first thing to say is it will be for the government and not the governor, but for the government to decide what to do. I think you're saying that Cayman has been a bit slow on some of these things. I think Cayman has been naturally cautious and often in these matters of elections, democracy, big decisions, caution is not a bad thing, I don't think. I'm sure there will be several aspects of the recommendations that we might want to take a look at. As far as the Commission is concerned, I don't really think it would particularly change the Governor's responsibilities, actually. But maybe I'd ought to talk to AG, my Attorney General, about that. I think it would be more in terms of, do you have a permanent commission? So, of course, we've got Wes Howell, who is our supervisor of elections. He's done it lots of times, and he has demonstrated, yet again, hats off to Wes, he has demonstrated with his wonderful cadre of over 300 polling staff that they know what they're doing and they have conducted the election extremely efficiently. So I think it would be a conversation with Wes to say, look, if you had a commission that was there all the time, as opposed to just being kind of set up with people coming in for the election, would that be a benefit to us? And we could have that open conversation. But I don't think it's particularly controversial, actually. It would just be a matter of how you do it. There are other recommendations that are always made about things like the transparency of campaign financing that personally I think would be a good thing to look at. It's just about really being transparent. It's not even particularly to limit or change the way campaign financing is done. It's just to be transparent about it, which I think would probably be a good thing. And then, of course, there will also be some thoughts about the election boundaries, the district boundaries. We looked at that last time. I quite appreciate you don't want to be changing the boundaries every 4 years or something. So I had respect for the government's view that they were being cautious and didn't want to rush into that last time. But it's probably another thing we will want to have a competent discussion about, and obviously to involve the whole community and the thoughts of the whole community in that. So I'm sure that will be something that the government would want to look at. But again, it will be their decision what they want to do about it.
And along those lines as well, when we talk about trying to get that balance, that equity in terms of the equal numbers in each district, we always think of bringing forward those smaller districts to make them larger. But there's always also that possibility of reducing the large ones so that they're in line with the smaller ones also, if you want that equity. That, of course, would mean increasing the size of our legislature. Now, we know people complain about the salaries that our MPs make when they compare it to the amount of time that they actually spend in our parliament. But you as governor would know better than anyone else, other than the ministers themselves, the tremendous amount of responsibility and work that comes with their appointments and the portfolios that they have. And while at the same time they do have the benefit of a parliamentary secretary, the work of our government in the Cayman Islands becomes more and more rather than less, becomes much more complicated and much more technical. So there could be a strong argument for an increase in our legislature, not to mention the mere fact that we have seen now 3 successive governments that have been comprised of a coalition, something that is sort of it's a strange happening in the Cayman Islands, but it's happening more and more. And there are some analysts who believe that because of the size of our parliament, that makes that possible. Do you have any observations on that? Any comments?
I don't have a particular view on it, and I don't think the UK would either. I think it will be for the government and indeed for the Parliament, very importantly, to figure out what they want to do about that. I would say personally, I don't think having coalitions is a bad thing. That's my personal view. I think it is happening more around the world. We've seen in many places, including the UK, quite a disruption in our kind of traditional politics. And I think if you have a coalition, obviously there's challenges about everybody working together. That's clear all around the world. You see that, but also it means in theory you would aim to have a more broad base of issues, of support for the issues you're dealing with. And so it is about compromise and balance. And I think compromise and balance are probably rather good things to have very actively pursued in politics all around the world, aren't they? So I don't think that coalitions in of themselves are a problem.
Okay. The question of immigration, and we know now that in the past, several elections passed where immigration fell under the civil service as opposed to being assigned to a minister. That has changed in several election cycles now, and it becomes the responsibility under a minister. But it's a hot topic, one that was mentioned in every manifesto that I read and every interview that I conducted of candidates during the election as well. We see the UK also responding to immigration issues. There are those who feel that we have to take decisive measures, some that may be a little bit more robust than measures that we have taken before. Knowing the worldwide situation, knowing the fact that the United Kingdom is facing similar challenges as well, should we expect, if whatever we do is in line with, number one, international best practice, number two, does not violate our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, would we expect to get any pushback from the United Kingdom?
No, I think immigration is clearly a devolved issue, as you say. So whatever we do, obviously, I'm sure the government will want to follow the law. I think we need to be, I'm sure, and therefore it's not a decision that I would make, it's for the government to make. So that's the first thing to say. But I think it's very helpful to be clear about what we are trying to achieve. And having listened to a lot of the debates across all of the parties in the run-up to the election, it's very clear to me that I guess there are two priority objectives. One is to make sure that every Cayman has the opportunity to have a job, have a salary, compete for that, and be able to be employed. And the second is, I think, to look at the jobs that our Caymanian population are doing and to make sure that there is talent development. So it's not just about having a job, but it's about having that opportunity to progress in your job. And I think both of those objectives are very laudable, praiseworthy objectives to have, and are very much in keeping with the thinking around the world about how you promote and develop your own population. So I'm sure that will be at the top of the government agenda, and it seems like a sensible way to go.
Okay.
But I would also, can I just say,
yes. Go ahead, sorry,
that, having also seen the United Kingdom over the last however many years, 40 years in my career, I'm very aware that some level of the right immigration, bringing in talent, not necessarily to be here forever, because of course we have all sorts of rules about PR and rollover and everything, but the ability to attract talent is also a good thing. So here we go again, we need to get the balance right. Because I have seen, and I think a lot of people believe this, that if you're bringing in the right talent, that is how you develop your indigenous talent as well. Because you have to have somebody to share those skills. And no country in the world has the ability, I'm very clear about this, to create its own skills on its own. It is just not possible. And so you need to bring in, any country needs to bring in some talent in order to nurture your own. So we do need to get the balance right as well.
Yeah, and we have actually put in our legislation provisions that would accomplish what you're saying as well. Unfortunately, it hasn't been policed as much as it should be, and from some companies, the good corporate citizens, do the right thing, and there are others who basically try to avoid it. Is something called a Regulation 6, where certain positions the board can say to a particular applicant company, this position we're placing a Regulation 6 on it, which means that you need to identify a Caymanian within your organization, or it could be outside the organization as well, who will be positioned to eventually take up that post. They're expected to provide a training plan and a time frame within which that should happen as well. Like I said, there is some success to that. It is measured, but we do have things in place like that. So we just need to make it a little bit more robust. Governor, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, you used a phrase during the swearing-in ceremony, "our people." And I found that to be extremely touching. I'm not sure how many people picked up on it, but I certainly did, and I mentioned it in my commentary as well. And I would like you to explain to us the use of that phrase, "our people." Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly. Sorry, I sprung that one up.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Economics and Statistics Office is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 13th. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2024? In 2024, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms, or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with Her Excellency the Governor, Miss Jane Owen. Of course, she has other obligations and responsibilities this morning as well. So we're extremely grateful and thankful for her making the time to appear here on For the Record to talk to you, the people of the Cayman Islands as well. Governor, back over to you.
Thank you. What was your question as well? Oh, we were talking about what I said in Parliament.
Yes,
and,
our people.
About
We used
our
the phrase.
people, yes. Yeah, well, I think as governor, and bearing in mind that Cayman is an overseas territory and therefore has a particularly close relationship with the United Kingdom as a really close member of that realm, of that family. Obviously, all of our citizens here in Cayman, I think, should be regarded as kind of our people. It's kind of our family, and that's how I feel about it. Yeah. And I think, therefore, my role is to serve the people, our people. It's to serve all of you guys out there, working in partnership with the government to make sure that we can deliver effectively for the communities here in Cayman.
Yeah, one saying that I had, I used, and I didn't coin it really, but, if our government fails, we fail. If they succeed, we succeed as well. So it is important for us to give all the support that we can to our government in order for them to succeed, including if people are asked to give up their service either on boards or otherwise, that they should seriously consider doing so and put the interests of the Cayman Islands first.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the flip side of it is, and I do think that governments are very aware of this, is that also government has to have that outreach to the people, to businesses, to non-profit organisations, to all aspects of civil society, including indeed the media, to make sure that the decisions and the policies that they are formulating take into account the different views that are out there, so that the government should always try, and I think they do always try, to have their finger on the pulse. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be able to do what every bit of the constituency wants, because of course there are conflicts and disagreements about the way of going about things, but at least if you know what is the feeling among the people out there, you can then hopefully forge a path. And I did say this, I think, in Parliament last week as well. You can forge a path that is, as far as possible, a kind of a middle way, a balanced way, which takes into account innovation, but is also slightly cautious, maybe, so that you have a good approach to risk. It's not saying you don't do anything that's new or innovative or involves change, but you do it in such a way that you're managing the risk and you're doing it in a kind of gradual way. And I think all I have seen in the way in which our government works is that is an approach that they all aim to take.
Excellent. I think you wanted to mention the passing of Mr. Ernest Scott as well, even though I think the statement that was put out had some quotes from you as governor as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it had a quote from me, but certainly, it could have done, because it is a great loss. It's a great loss to Cayman Brac. It's a great loss to Cayman overall. Mr. Ernie was a stalwart civil servant, a great leader. I understand I never worked with him in his role as district commissioner because it was before my time, but I know he was really well respected, and not just in the BRAC, but very clearly throughout the civil service and among all of our ministers and our parliamentarians. So we hope that in his passing we can all join in a celebration of his life and the service he gave to this country.
Okay. One of our listeners wants to talk about traffic. And while the Royal Cayman Islands Police does fall under your purview, the roads itself, road construction and everything else is another devolved responsibility as well. And some of the answers that we have applied to our traffic problem brings us in direct conflict with our obligations to protect the environment as well. There are those who feel that enforcement, we need more enforcement now. We know in the UK that councils, have a lot to do with what takes place in, within their particular geographic area. And one of the use of speed cameras is one use that they have there, and they raise a tremendous amount of money from it. Now, whether or not that is the intent, to raise money or to ensure safety, and I believe the latter is the case. Is there any assistance that we can get from the UK in terms of expertise on how we address our traffic problem, especially speeding, and how we control speeders and how we make them accountable.
Yeah, I do hope this will be a priority, one of the many priorities that the incoming government will have, and it was a priority, I think, for the previous government as well. Traffic is clearly something we need to do something about. There are a number of aspects, aren't there, that we probably need to take forward together in tandem. So we obviously need to do something about improving our public transport. We do have an expert called Andrew who is working in Cayman government, who came over from the British Department of Transport, who is working with our wonderful staff, Caymanian staff there, to see what we can do to improve public transport provision. The Roads Authority have also been looking at how they can, make roads safer and things. They have been doing quite a few things about that. So, that is happening. I totally agree with you. We also need to improve enforcement. So I am very much in favour of more cameras. We will have to figure out, because that's quite a big system to put in place. It needs people to run it. So we'll have to think about that. And we're also looking at how we can have a points system, because at the end of the day, enforcement only works, in my view, if you have a system, and if you are speeding or if you're driving under the influence, you have points taken off your license, and ultimately you could lose your license. So we are looking at all of that, and I think we need to look at it holistically, because again, what is the objective? The objective is to improve the efficiency and the time it takes to travel on our roads, but also to improve the safety when we are doing that. And I would also, of course, want to mention our cyclists and our commitment to making sure that they are able to cycle safely without drivers putting their lives at risk, as we have seen tragically over the last few weeks.
Because, as we continue to build more roads, they are certainly, the National Roads Authority, they're certainly making it more accessible to cyclists as well by having the cycling lanes and the walking lanes for persons. But that is really only partly an illusion in terms of safety, because we've seen people being hit there, as well, which brings us to the whole issue of the use of alcohol and, other drugs, and people operating vehicles under the influence, as well, and whether or not we need more robust legislation in that area. There are some people, who feel that if a person is killed by a drunk driver, whether it's taken as a traffic offense, and you have someone who maims or kills someone in other circumstances, and they're treated completely different from a driver who's caused the loss of life as well.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important if you. I think it is the case now that if you're responsible for an accident where someone is very badly injured or even killed, the full force of the law will come at you, and that's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Okay, Governor, time goes very quickly, but I want to give you an opportunity, for some closing comments and any final messages that you want to convey to the people of the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, I think, thank you very much to everybody, first of all, for all the support and the conversations that you afford to me. I really appreciate that. Just to underline that I'm so looking forward to working with our new government as we put together our priorities. And indeed, the ministers in the United Kingdom are very much looking forward to working together, so much so that our Minister for the Overseas Territories, Stephen Doughty, is planning to visit Cayman in June. So Minister Doughty should be arriving here on the 9th of June and spending some time, including with the government, but also getting out and seeing what's going on around the community here during that week. So I'm very much looking forward to welcoming our Minister, and I hope that many of your listeners will also be able to hear what he has to say and hopefully meet him as well.
Okay, Governor, thank you again for making yourself available. We look forward to these conversations, with you, and expect to have more of them as well. Folks, we've reached the top of the hour. Headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the phone lines will be open. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
According to the National Weather Service's dry season summary, rainfall between December and April was below the seasonal average, as well as the previous season for both Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. Looking at the stats, total rainfall in Grand Cayman for the period was 2.6 inches, with the most falling in April, which saw more than 3 inches. The wettest day was April 9th. Donald Trump is holding talks in Qatar on the second leg of his 4-day Middle East tour. Before flying to Doha, Trump met the Syrian president in Riyadh, urging him to normalize relations with Israel. The meeting came after Trump lifted sanctions on Syria, saying it would, quote, give them a chance at greatness. Trump later praised the Syrian leader, calling him a, quote, an attractive guy, tough guy. He also said it's possible he'll join peace talks in Turkey with Ukraine and Russia tomorrow, which President Zelensky and Putin may attend. And at least 48 Palestinians have been killed in a series of Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza overnight. The Indonesian hospital reported that 22 children and 15 women were among the dead after a number of homes in the refugee camp were hit. The Israeli military said it was looking into the reports. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We want to again thank the Governor for making herself available to be here on For the Record this morning. I hope that our listeners and our viewers gain some more insight into the Governor's responsibilities. There's sometimes some misconception that gives the Governor more power and more authority than they actually gives governors more authority than they actually have, and it is all governed by the provisions of our Constitution. So that is extremely important to remember as well. Let's see if we have a message here. This person has written and said, morning, OC, I hope that the government and the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service will amend the driver's license to incorporate more education on safety standards. Also, when someone loses their license, then they should have to retake the written and driving tests and also have to watch a video on the dangers of DUI and careless driving. I totally agree on this. The first thing that we need to do is we need to ensure that we have a more robust testing system. Written test as well as the practical test, what some refer to in some jurisdictions as the road test as well. And then you heard the governor talk about, having some sort of a point system. I was talking to someone yesterday, and it would surprise you, or maybe you won't be that surprised, as to the number of persons who are driving on our roads without, I repeat, without being licensed to drive. Not to mention how many vehicles are being operated on our roads without either being properly licensed or, even more importantly, insured as well, which means it puts other drivers, other road users out there at risk if the other individual is not insured as well. We do have a caller on WhatsApp. Let's go to that caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. I was. Were you receiving any notes, like WhatsApp notes for the governor during her show?
I received one about the what it had to do with the Court of Appeals position.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did send that one in. I just wasn't sure whether actually you were allowing to receive those notes. I know you didn't want people to call and so on. But first of all, let me begin by saying I really liked your question that you asked the governor about whether the UK would have any problem with the Cayman Islands taking certain approaches in relation to immigration. Because as you know, you understand this better than I do, the argument that's usually raised in the Cayman Islands in relation to immigration as well as other things is, well, you see, the UK would not allow this, the UK would not allow that. So I think it is good that you put it to the governor and said, well, look, what's the position that your government, the governor will take? And the governor has made it clear that this is something, she said it is a devolved matter now. I'm not quite sure the use of the word devolved was quite correct, because there is an extent to which the UK government can, on the basis of the European Convention, maybe question certain issues. But that's a little bit of a technicality we don't need to get into too much at the moment. At least she has made it clear that this is something that they have left to the local government to do. But that said, I think we should go back to how the mass grants happened. How did the mass grants happen? According to what we heard, and this was, I think, general knowledge within the Cayman Islands, is that some people in the Cayman Islands, British people, other people from other Commonwealth countries, went to the British government and said, well, look, we can't get status, we can't get PR, and the British government put pressure on the Cayman government, and then the government at the time decided to address the problem in the way they addressed it. I don't think the British government said, can you give the mass grants? I think they just said, can you address the issue? And then the government decided what to do. So
I'm going to interrupt you there for a second, Billy, and say that
Sure.
Well, when the status grants first started, I was still over at the Immigration Department as Chief Immigration Officer, and then I moved over probably around about June, July of 2003 over to the Cabinet Office. I have never, unless those conversations took place by phone, I have never seen any evidentiary, any evidence of the UK pushing us in that regard. I do recall when Baroness Scotland was the Minister for the Overseas Territories, and she visited Cayman. When she met with members of the board, the Work Permit Board, the Status Board, she pointed out that our problem as far as British Overseas Territories citizenship and status was concerned, our problem was the issue of permanent residence. That was something that we needed to sort out. The whole issue of status grants started with one individual, and once that was done, it started to snowball, and it ballooned, and it gave every person then, cabinet members, an opportunity to start to say, well, I'd like this one to get it, and eventually it just simply got out of hand. I personally do not believe that there was any pressure whatsoever on the government of the Cayman Islands to grant status. Remember now the other excuse that they used as well, we're reaching our quincentennial, and this is a good time to grant 500 status grants. We get various justifications, for it. We were never, in my opinion, pushed towards those grants of status.
Yeah. OC, I'm so grateful that you have said that, because this is something which was going around in the Cayman Islands, and it was to me, I would describe it almost like as something general knowledge, although I don't know if you can know something that didn't happen, but that's the way people took it to be, this is what happened. Now, from your position, particularly the position you were in at the time, it is very credible to me when you say, well, look, there's nothing that you are aware of which amounted to any kind of pressure from the British government, because then the issue becomes who originated this, call it now a rumor, that this had happened, or was it an excuse being used at the time by the government in power to give the status grants? And that then also becomes, are we going to possibly face the same problem today? Are we going to get another government which tells us, oh, no, we can't have this kind of immigration reform because the British government has said they are going to, they won't agree to that. And that's why, again, it emphasizes how important the question you asked the governor was, so that no government now will tell us, oh, no, but you see, we are facing pressure from the British government. Now, that let me go back to the thing. I would love OC if when the I don't know whose decision it was, that when the governor is on, that people can't call in, they can just send in questions and so forth. I don't want to know whether it was Radio Cayman which made the decision or whether it was the governor's office. I don't know.
I think, well, I can tell you the time constraint was one. The governor, she is not averse to taking phone calls and stuff, but we only had 45 minutes this morning, and we know when we open up the phone lines what happens. So the best way to control that when you have a limited amount of time is simply to ask people to send in their questions, in advance.
Okay, well, that's in a sense, that's some comfort, because I thought that the problem was that she didn't want, or the office didn't want to interact with people. Because I know that people have always been very polite, whether it was her or whether it was Governor Roper. People were always polite when they called in, and so on. Sometimes people would talk a little long, and sometimes you were very good and saying, okay, can we focus on the issue? So long as, it is not sort of like a policy of the governor's office to say they will never take phone calls, then that's very comforting, because I was kind of worried about that.
I can assure you of that. We have had that in the past from ministers and ministries not wanting to take phone calls, and especially, yes. Oh, that's
interesting.
Yeah, I've had that request. I won't call names and stuff like that, but I felt, a little bit put back by that, especially from public servants, because, they're accountable to the people as well as elected officials. And one of the roles that I have to play here as the moderator is to ensure that there is a balance there. So when people get out of hand, we have a way of silencing them, using the technical things that we have on hand to do so. But like you've said, in most instances, people are extremely polite. Sometimes they may be a little bit long-winded, but in most instances, they're correct. But time constraints are usually the issue. But yes, there have been ministers who didn't want to take phone calls. There have been public servants who don't want to take phone calls as well.
To me, OC, it's one of the big privileges of being associated with the Cayman Islands, to be able to call in a show and engage with ministers in a ways in which in other countries people don't get an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit disappointed that there are some people who maybe have been uncomfortable regarding that. But I think this is something that we're still able to do, and I think I'm very grateful that we were able to do that. Now, about the question I wanted to ask the governor. Which is the note that I sent in. Okay. Now, this is something which is really, I think, very, very important. You do recall in the case involving Mr. Bush, you don't want to kick a man when he's down, but he was prosecuted in one case where there were some questions regarding why they brought the case at all, since it was weak. We don't know whether whatever was alleged happened or didn't happen, but without getting into that, it clearly was weak. It came out into court. And the governor did promise at that time that they were going to look at it, but apparently nothing has happened. And then you have to look at that in the light of other cases which have taken place. Only last week, the Court of Appeal says that the CMR administrator should not have been prosecuted. Now, anybody can win an appeal, OC, but the way that appeal is being won is such that the court straight away said from the very beginning, this person should never have been prosecuted. This was freedom of speech. And they got cases on both sides. The DPP's KC as well as the KC who was engaged by CMR, both of them agreed that the appeal should be allowed. So it does show that this was really an egregious decision by a judge, and possibly also an egregious decision by a DPP, by RCIPS, and whoever advised on it. And then there was also the issue of Doctors Express. The Doctors Express, it came out very, very clearly in public that public officials conspired actually to try and hurt a lawful business. Again, it came out in court. It's not my allegation. It came out in court. And so for me, the question I wanted to ask the governor is, don't you think with these cases, and there are others I could go into, don't you think with all these cases, it is time that there is an inquiry into the judicial and legal services in the Cayman Islands, just like they've had in the British Virgin Islands, to find out whether exactly there's need for reform on the legal side, on the judicial side, the complaints side, the policies regarding how people are prosecuted. So way back, I have to stop now. Yeah. Way back, I did call you back, OC, about the number of Caymanians, simple Caymanians who were being charged with a breach of trust. Okay, or because this one held on the fire too long, or this one dumped mal here and there, and so on. Look at all those prosecutions. Isn't there really certain policies which should be looked at to ensure that people are not having their lives destroyed? Yeah. Right now, by the way, there's somebody who is about to be destroyed because they are saying that she has insulted the modesty of a woman, some old colonial offense like that. So that's my question. Is there a need for an inquiry?
Okay, what I will do is I will forward this on to the governor's office to say that, one of our listeners had sent this as well, and I'll see what response, if any, we get from the governor's office on it. And if I do, then I will convey it to you. Okay, thank you very much. We've gone 5 minutes beyond our commercial break, and we do have a caller on hold as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Attention Georgetown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Georgetown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 12th to 17th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it's easily accessible to the DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction or demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Georgetown Bulk Waste Collection from May 12 to 17, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a caller on hold on the WhatsApp number. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, and you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What was the reason why the governor said that Mr. Bean Ponted would not be allowed to be a minister?
Okay, I got that question by WhatsApp as well. Did she? My first question would be, did she say that he could not be a minister?
Yes.
Where, when and where?
Well, I heard that on the radio, and so I'm pretty sure that something like that would not be put on the radio.
As news, or someone mentioning, or someone saying it.
Well, I would say as news. I have another question.
Okay, before you go to your other question, though, let me tell you what Section 54, one of our Constitution says. Says the governor, acting in accordance with the advice of the premier. So he or she has to be in accord with the advice, meaning step by step with it. Can't deviate from it. Acting in accordance with the advice of the premier shall, by directions in writing, charge any minister with responsibility for the conduct, subject to this Constitution and any other law, of any business of the government, including responsibility for the administration of any department of government. What Section 54(1) says is that it is the premier's choice, not the governor. The governor has to act in accordance with the advice given by the premier. Clear?
Okay. Well, if that's what the law is, that's what the law is. So, but the governor still practically agreed with it.
Had to agree with whatever the premier put forward, the name, whomever the premier put forward as his ministers, as long as they're members of parliament. So if he chose not to put forward a name, then the governor can't consider it if can't swear that person in or give responsibility if the premier doesn't do it. She can't. She can't say, well. How come you didn't appoint Mr. Panton? He should be there. She can't say that. Neither can she say. Neither can she say, I don't want Mr. Panton to be, or any person. I don't want XYZ, to be a minister.
Or not saying that she doesn't want him to be a minister. He will not be allowed.
The Constitution does not give her that power, that authority.
Well, if the premier had reasons in not doing that either, by not allowing him to be a minister, what was the reason?
There could be many reasons. It could be the possibility that Mr. Panton didn't want it.
Come on now, Mr. Orrett Connor. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Any other callers on hold at this point in time? No other callers. So let's go back over that, because that's very important. The rumors are it's out there on the rumor mill about this whole issue. And if clarity hasn't already been obtained in relation to it, I think it would be important and it would be timely for this to be clarified, because it is not nice to have, a person's name kicking around the place about, they wouldn't, appoint him. Well, he's a parliamentary secretary, which also, as a parliamentary secretary, gives him the ability to act for a minister in that minister's absence. So while he may not be in the substantive position, he may act. What is the big difference there? I think, we need to have clarity on it. But our Constitution definitely tells us who has responsibility for appointing the ministers, right? What the governor does is charges that person with responsibilities for the conduct of certain subjects, within the government. But it is definitely the premier. Now, what we should note, and again, this goes back to the limitations of our governance, simply because of the size of our parliament and the huge portfolios that ministers, have to oversee as well. But I lost my train of thought there now in relation to that. But the mere fact that the premier chose not to here's what I wanted to say. In most instances, in many jurisdictions, when prime ministers, and we had this in the case of Gordon Brown, for instance, when he lost the premiership, he was still a member of parliament. Very, very seldom do you see former prime ministers or premiers returning as a minister within government. Some see it as a retrograde step. Some see it as being totally unnecessary when there is other talent out there who can be tapped into to perform those roles as well. They have been in the limelight for whatever period of time, and they simply sit back and say, I'm going to let someone else do it now, as well. We could take a different approach as well as to how would a premier feel that a former premier of his, who he has now replaced, is a minister in his government. It depends on how comfortable that individual, would feel as well. So there are many unanswered questions there. But what we do know for certain, because it is enshrined in our Constitution, is that it is the premier's, within the premier's purview to advise the governor on his or her ministerial choices, and the governor has to act in accordance with that advice, in accordance with it, not maybe take it into consideration, must act in accordance with that advice. With that, we're going to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I'll remind you that the phone lines are open. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number, 925-3261 if you want to call in. If not, I have a few WhatsApp comments that I will share with you as well. Meanwhile, you know me, I like to be as thorough as possible, and I don't like people to take my word for what, whatever I say. So if you want a definition of in accordance with, the phrase in accordance with, let's go to the dictionary. And this is from Collins Dictionary. If something is done in accordance with a particular rule or system, it is done in the way that the rule or system says that it should be done. I'm going to read it one more time. if something is done in accordance with a particular rule or system, it is done in the way that the rule or system says that it should be done. So if I were to replace some of those words there with the premier, the word premier, right? In accordance with a particular advice of the premier, then it is done the way that that advice has been given by the premier. The governor, and I'm going to repeat this for the last time, the governor must follow the advice when it comes to the appointment of ministers of cabinet, must follow the advice of the premier as long as it is lawful, as long as it confirms with our Constitution as well. If anyone has any other interpretation of that, please share it with me. Meanwhile, we do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Mr. Clone.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. How many of you are going to try to make for that station?
Sorry?
How many of you are going to try to make for that station? you got too many, what do you call it? So much weight on your lap right now. Too many stations, too many.
Soon be easing off. Soon be easing off. Just
too many programs to remember. what program you're on?
Yeah, sometimes I make that mistake and I say talk today when it should be For the Record and vice versa.
It is what it is. But anyhow, we got and about who wants Sterling back, y'all need to call in and vote for Sterling. Vote him back into Radio Cayman, guys. Vote him back in. Mr. Connor, today's a beautiful day in the Cayman Islands. How you doing?
It is. I'm good. And yourself?
I'm thankful. I'm just thankful that my eyes open this morning, and to my knowledge, just about everybody's eyes is open.
Mm-hmm.
So God is still good. God is good. Yeah, I have a lot to say, but I don't have the time. Yesterday, they were talking about, the port and everything else there under the station. I was holding and I didn't really get to say anything after the guy came on. I told him time was against me. But, we had a few phone calls there yesterday. It was a lot of, some of them was interested in regards to the port and tourism and downtown and the stores that is being closed and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And, a couple of things that some of them was discussing in regards to where's the entertainment for our people when they come here to the island, because we are very low on entertainment here in Cayman. And everybody knows these ships are only here for a couple of hours for the day. So how much time they think that these guys going to have if we do bill a pier? And if they do build a pier, are they going to put gift shops on the pier? Like some places I understand has gift shops on the piers. I don't know. And I'm just speaking. I'm just talking out and I'm just talking out. I don't have any proof of anything.
Okay.
So just wondering, what will be built on these piers if these piers are ever built. And the most concern is they can't tell us where this pier would be built, and probably they wouldn't have got as many no's if they got it. They had to give us
more information,
more info where they would build a pier, and it could satisfy us to the fact that yes, that is a great location, and we do know we need a pier. But the fact of the matter is, God forbid, downtown Georgetown is a no, and it seems like that is the happy place that they want to put this pier from what I can understand here and there. And knowing that so many stores are closed downtown already because of lack of business, and they're all blaming it on cruise ships and no piers, which I think is a very poor excuse. because, I've been talking to my visitors, and a lot of people that I talk to say that the trips on these tenders to the dock to get off here to spend time on this island, it is so short. I had a lady and her husband, they were here 40 years ago, and they came back with 2 keys in their hand, and they came off Mary, and was happy to be back in Cayman, but disappointed that they could not see the water, the beaches as we toured. They couldn't see no beaches. And I explained that to them before we even drove off from the Royal, that, they're not going to see very much of a beaching on this 7-mile stretch. So for me to show them a water line, I had to go to the south side of the island, down to South Sound and so forth, And I had a couple who was on the ship up here at Spots, and it was up here some months ago. And talking about the cruise, the pier and everything, and they said that the first time they ever been on a tender from a cruise ship, and they thought it was fun. And they said for the length of time that they was tender to the dock, it was so short. What is the purpose of a pier to a degree? What is it going to gain more for the people? They're going to have gift shops on it. They're going to have restaurants on it. The distance to inland is so short. Where it's going to be built, who's going to build it, who's going to put the expense? Because, tourism has been our pillow from day one. I would say, for my 6 to 8 years on Earth, I always know about tourism, but I've never been there until these last few years, you understand? But we have a lot of repeat customers who is coming to Cayman on these cruise ships, and some people don't jump those boats unless they know they're coming to the Cayman Island. I had a family just less than a month ago, and they was on a 3-month cruise. And they say they just keep changing boat after boat. And every boat that they get back on, that boat was coming to the Cayman Island. They was coming back here. Can you imagine constantly coming back to Cayman within that 3 months, jumping boat that's going to be entering into the Cayman Island? So you see, not everything that glitter is gold. And I'm not saying that we don't need a pier. Don't get me wrong, please. But the fact of the matter is, who's going to build it? Who's going to own it? Where is the money coming from? What is our grandchildren going to be left with a half-damaged dock after 25 to 30 years? Who knows we can have boats next 30 years coming to the Cayman Island? We don't know that. I don't know why we have to live on like the rest of the world. Why we were different from day one. We're not different much no more. We want everything that the rest of the world has. We want up at the airport. We built a brand new airport, no jetways. It was a big stink about it. Now nobody's talking about the jetways no more. They're going to add to the airport, and nothing I hear is going to add jetways to the airport. Your words to me, they want the sunshine when they step down the Cayman Island. Well, they're still getting the sunshine as well as the tourists when they come off the cruise ship. I mean, I have a lot more to talk about. I'll let you go with that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. You have a great day, and please stay safe as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You heard that the Veg program taking applications again? What that is? Veg Vetchman, the Minister of Tourism's program that helping Caymanians create new tourism products and services.
Oh, I had heard about that, yeah. My friend was one of the successful applicants from the last round. I might apply for that still.
Nothing wrong, child. After you got great ideas for things tourists would love to buy, try so check out the website rcayman.ky/VEDGP for more information and apply.
I'm going to do that right now.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning. One of our listeners has written and said, here we go. What do the traffic laws say about motorized vehicles? Do they have to be inspected, licensed, and insured? Good question. There are serious problems on the roads of Cayman with motorized scooters, bicycles, and skateboards. Why are these dangerous vehicles allowed to be on the public roads without being licensed and insured? Shouldn't they be prosecuted for illegally using our roads in violation of the laws? The first one to be used about 15 years ago resulted in the user being fatally injured, as my memory recalls, on Crew Road. That's what the writer said. So let's look at some of the questions. Whether or not they're required to be insured, I think it has something to do with the capacity, with the speed, whether or not they're required to be licensed. We're seeing more and more of them on the road as well. We know that they go faster than normal bicycles. I think there is a strong argument that they should be licensed. Another observation, which this writer hasn't made, has to do with the use of helmets. I believe, it's my belief that there should be a requirement for all cyclists to wear helmets, all persons using those motorized vehicles to wear helmets, as well as motorcycle riders to wear helmets as well. If you have any doubts about it, read some articles, about helmets and what they do to protect your head, to protect your body, as well. So that's another thing. But I believe that more and more what we're having, or we're seeing to a certain extent in the Cayman Islands, is this laissez-faire attitude towards everything that is taking place. No interference, no government interference. Just let them do what they want to do. We see the results of that now with the amount of carnage that is taking place on our roads, the amount of motor vehicle accidents that are taking place on our roads, and we really haven't successfully challenged that as well. And I want to thank the governor for mentioning the fact, that talking about the use of cameras and everything also. Let's grab our caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Your comments just a few minutes ago talking about the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, it's out of control. Out of control. As you mentioned, do as you see fit. Just this morning, there was 2 trucks, big trucks, full of marl or sand, or some had rocks. Nothing was covered. I could see the sand or marl falling from the back of that truck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, the problem is someone mentioned about the new government have to be careful because you can't be too harsh or whatever. No. We need some rude awakening into this country. Things are gone too far and it needs to be corrected. That is one of the things I see. The other things, when you're talking about tourism, I was in that business maybe 30 years. And for my opinion, just my single humble opinion, we are not really prepared when we're talking about putting this dock down. We're not prepared for it. I look around Georgetown, this is the capital. Some of the sidewalks need urgent attention. That's just the sidewalks. We need to sit down with people that are reasonable and sort out the situation and decide which highway we're going to take. Because as it is now, it's good and damned to say, listen, people that have been booked a year ago, maybe 2 years ago or 6 months ago, are the cruise ships going to return all of their money that they put in to have a cruise on those ships? I don't think so. I think it's just a bluff. We're going to be okay. We just need people to be more positive and give the new government a chance. And so far, everybody, most of the people I talk to seem to be happy with the results of the election. So, having said that, I'm not able to say too much yet, but we are going to get things in order, in short order. We're going to do that. And hopefully that people will understand that where we're coming from. But the traffic thing, coming back to that, we need some serious attention into this traffic situation. You know, people have no regards for other people on the street driving or walking. So we need to get something done shortly.
So you seem to be sort of in the know in terms of what is happening. We know now that responsibilities have been assigned to each individual minister. Some of them will probably start to visit some of the departments that fall under their responsibility. What should we expect next?
We should expect that, especially in the District of West Bay, the supporters of the elected members, they're going to come to us and have a consultation and tell us what is their idea, what is their support, and then how some of our ideas and go forward. Presently, I'm not able to say because it's not on the agenda yet, but it will come soon enough. Believe me, soon enough. It's not going to be things that's going to go on for the next 4 years and people say that nothing has happened. I don't think that's going to be so. I think we, like the guy says, hit the ground running and just give us some short time and you're going to see some results.
Okay, one more question before you go. We know that there were very several manifestos. Every party had a manifesto, and even within those parties, some had what they referred to as manifesto, or what each individual member had their manifesto. Then, of course, now the coalition is comprised of two parties and the independents as well. Are they still working on getting one manifesto or one program in place that incorporates either some or all of the points of each entity, that is the independents, the CCCP, and the Cayman Islands National Party?
If I be honest with you, it's just a little bit too early to make a comment on that, but something is in the making. So just hang on for another maybe 2 weeks, and then we should be able to come forward with something more positive as a united group of elected members.
Caller, I'm going to say this and just take it as a joke. Just take it as a joke. You sure you weren't on the ballot in the last election. And I say that based on the answers that you've given me. Take it as a joke, though.
Yeah. No.
I understand that you're not in an official position to reveal anything, and I appreciate that.
Right. I'm not going to push myself forward before the time comes.
Right.
But I'm optimistic that I will have some really good input, positive input to what goes on in the island.
Uh-huh.
But as I think if I remember, I mentioned to you before, at least 2 people in the District of West, there could be more, were registered in West Bay North. They haven't changed their address. They haven't did anything. And when they went to the polls, they have to vote, or was told they have to vote in West Bay West.
Wait, and their name was on the register for where?
Of course, for West Bay North. Mm-hmm.
And they were told that they had to vote in West Bay West, and that sounds disturbing.
It is. Because those people was furious that they couldn't vote in West Bay North, and they said we gave nobody permission to change our physical address, so why this would happen.
But they don't have to give someone permission. The registering officer, if the registering officer is satisfied that that person no longer resides in that area, the registering officer can go to the revising officer, who's a chief magistrate, and that can be changed. That's why we advise people to continue to check the list to see what changes may be made. They don't need their permission to do so. If they're required by law that if they're no longer residing at a particular address that they should change and they don't do it, there are provisions in place for that change to take place. And that appears to me to be what occurred.
No. I listened to you carefully. Mm-hmm. That was not the position. The true position that those people stayed in West Bay North, and they were then registered or put down to vote in West Bay West.
Oh.
That's the position without anything else happening. So this is very disturbing to me, and hopefully it's to you as well.
These were new voters, or were they registered before?
No. They are indigenous Caymanians, 50 going in be 60 years.
Yeah, but it could still be new voters if they only registered for the first time registering. We have a lot of people who've been here for years and never registered and only registered now. So that really isn't a clear distinction. What I'm trying to determine is whether or not those persons' names were on a list before and what district they were in then, and if it's only this last, the final list that was published this time, that they were changed.
That is the contention, that those people always was in West Bay North. They didn't do anything to do that. So there's no beating or getting around it. It was absolutely a wrong move by someone who was in charge to do these things, because those people are Caymanian like myself. So why would that happen? They're not just some Johnny come lately and decide. They are indigenous Caymanians, been voting into the District of West Bay North especially for so many years. And
living in West Bay North.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Very interesting. I would be interested in following that one up, because I'm sure that there's an answer to it, and if it's an error, then it needs to be rectified and it needs to be acknowledged as well. I would really, really love to have some additional information on that. Have they brought that to the attention of the supervisor of elections or the registering officer for each of those constituencies?
Yeah, that would be quite helpful. And it's not that we're going to be trying to paint anybody with our wide brush and put them in the black scale, but some things happen, but things like that, and then you go expecting that you're going to vote for that person, and you find out that you and somebody else.
But you haven't answered my question. Is it being brought to the attention of the supervisor and the registering officer?
Not yet. The election is just over, so let's take it now and see what can happen.
Well, if you wait and forget about it, then it's going to remain the same until a new, where we, the 1st of April, May, June, 1st of July will be the next list that is out there. They need to check that list, see where they are, or they need to put in that change to ensure that they're put in the proper place. There's time to do it.
Okay,
they can do it. Maybe have a quarterly register.
Thank you so much, Anderson. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have a great day. Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Folks, we've reached that time. I want to say thank you for those of you who listened in, who offered comments as well. Again, thanks to the governor for making herself available to speak to the people of the Cayman Islands as well. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Mr. Charles Glidden Chalo for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. One more thing before we go. Just want to remind our listeners that on Friday, we will have in the studio with us members of the opposition. I believe it will be the deputy leader of the opposition, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, MP Dwayne Seymour, MP Perlina McGaw Lumsden, and MP Mr. Roy McTaggart as well. That will be Friday morning on For the Record.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
If they are talking